In our next example, we're going to talk about how to create blends between one surface and another, also known as fillets. So what I'll do is we'll come into this drawing that we've got here, and what we need to do is to add some fillets into these sections just here and here. And really I can probably just show this example with just one of them. So I want to create some fillets around here, and I probably want to blend this section in a little bit more. That's a little bit odd, it just comes into one point and really that kind of looks physically impossible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my fillet tool from up here in my modify section, and I'm going to be asked to first of all select my first object, or, and it's where you've got that or and that right click that you really need to kind of pay attention to this, because what that means is I'm going to right click here and I'm going to type in a radius, and that radius is going to be 2. So I'll press enter. So now that radius of 2 is locked in. So what I can do is I can select, this is my first object, that is my second object. So now I've got a nice blend between the two areas, and I'm going to repeat that by right clicking and saying repeat fillet. Now I've already entered in a value of 2 for my radius, so I don't need to do it a second time. All I need to do is to select my circle and a line, and it blends that nicely. This still looks a little bit odd, so I'll come in and I'll repeat my fillet and I'll blend between there and there again, and you can see that's actually given me quite a nice sort of circle in there and quite a nice fillet radius that's actually really working quite well on that corner. Now I think that although it sort of bottlenecks about here, actually that's blended in really very nicely, and when you compare it to the alternative that we had before, that really it's a much better option to be using. Another way that we can use our fillet tool actually is, if we come down here, is to put in or what looks like a radius or a curve between two endpoints like this. So again, if I use my fillet tool and I select this object and the second object, although that looks remarkably like a curve, technically it's a fillet, but what it's done is it's just rounded off that end. Absolutely brilliant, really simple, really easy to do, and not something you need to sort of worry about too much really. So remember, if what you're looking to do is to tidy up your work and blend in your edges and your surfaces, also you'll find that edges that are blended in like this, they sort of dissipate stress a lot more in the components. So it's obviously a better idea to blend rather than to have sort of very sharp edges that we've got here. And obviously the way we're going to do that, as we've just learnt, is using the fillet tool.